using drones for helping before and after a hurricane strikes.
What might you need if you have chest pain?
To what you need to know about your medical supplies when a hurricane hits.
One way in, one way out.
To finding the safest place in your house. To making sure this doesn't happen to your boat. Now, a Storm Team 5 News Channel 5 special, Surviving the Storm.
Welcome, everyone, to the 2014 hurricane season. The hurricane season is upon us, and this is a good time to remember what happened 10 years ago. Our area was hit by 2 hurricanes. First, it was Francis, which struck in the beginning of September 2004, and then exactly 3 weeks later to the hour, Jeanne came barreling through, Category 3. For those who went through those hurricanes, it was an experience they'll never forget. Those storms gave many people a hard lesson in the importance of preparing early for a hurricane. They also gave us a first-hand look at how frightening, destructive, and deadly these storms can be. We are now enjoying a record streak when it comes to hurricanes. Florida hasn't been hit by a hurricane in 8 seasons. That's never happened in the state in recorded history. We're also keeping an eye on some weather conditions off in the Atlantic and the Pacific. El Nino, will it form this year? Whenever we have a strong or a moderate El Nino, usually there are very few hurricanes and tropical storms in the Atlantic. The jet stream shifts and it cuts them apart before they get a chance to develop. Also, what shut us down last year was this, Saharan dust and dry air in the Atlantic. It really worked in our favor last year. It was good news, and hopefully it returns this year. So it's a hope that we will see this once again as we get into really the peak months of September and August and even October. Some hurricane experts are predicting this will be a quiet season. I recently talked to the director of the National Hurricane Center about the seasonal forecast. Rick Knabb told me that we should be cautious about reading too much into the forecast, predicting what could happen during the hurricane season.
The seasonal forecasts are not perfect, but even when they are, we don't have the scientific ability to forecast where the storms and hurricanes are going to go. And we've seen in past years when it's been way above average, not one hurricane hits the U.S. Other years, and this happened more than once, where it's been overall below average, and we've had a devastating hurricane hit somewhere in the U.S. 1992, Andrew. 1983, Alicia, that I went through in Texas. Those were in overall below average years. You can't connect the dots between the overall seasonal activity or the forecast and whether or not you'll be hit this year. So I prepare the same way every year, no matter what the seasonal forecast says.
That is great advice. And for the next half hour, we'll be going to help you prepare for a storm. One area that doesn't get much attention is medical needs. Storm Team 5's Glenn Glazer takes a look at that part of your preparations.
When it comes to preparing for a storm, it's not hard to remember to get things like bottled water and non-perishable food items, but it's easy to forget about your medical needs.
What are the things you need to do to prevent having to access emergency care if it can be prevented?
That's the big question Dr. David Soria, the chair of emergency medicine at Wellington Regional Medical Center, would like people to ask themselves as hurricane season gets underway.
We know hurricanes are horrible, but if there's one thing that Mother Nature has done for us, and that's given us a heads up. So because we have that, I think it's real important that we take advantage of it.
Take advantage by putting together a hurricane medical kit for yourself with at least a 2-week supply of your medications. And if those medications run out,
And have a plan as far as how you're going to get a hold of not only your doctor, but anybody that may need your help or that can help you in a time of need, those kinds of things.
the rain and wind can cause tremendous amounts of damage on their own. But when it comes to people with medical conditions, one of the most dangerous effects of a storm can be the loss of power.
No electricity means no air conditioning. A lot of times that humidity and that heat can trigger an exacerbation of what condition you may have, whether it be a heart condition, a lung condition, things like that.
So if for some reason you do need to get to a hospital, even if it's one not near your home, will they be ready to take you in?
Absolutely, we'll call some of our sister and neighbor hospitals and make sure that there's a working plan together to be able to accommodate each other. We do that now even without a disaster plan or without a disaster. It's very important that we continue that partnership.
So as medical professionals continue to prep for hurricane season, it is important that you do the same.
We absolutely will have information available on our website for our patients to access prior to hurricane season so that you can be prepared.
Glenn Glazer, WPTV News Channel 5.
Great advice, and a lot of people forget about that. Of course, for more supplies you'll need for your hurricane kits, you can go to WPTV.com, click on the weather link, and then the Hurricane Plus section. Mention hurricanes and most people think of strong winds and heavy rains, but often what's worse is the storm surge. This year the National Hurricane Center and local emergency managers have put a new plan in place so they won't have to issue evacuation orders for the entire county. As Storm Team 5's James Wieland reports, under this plan the evacuations will be for smaller, specific areas.
Storm surge. It's the greatest threat to life and property in a storm. Storm surge is caused by strong winds pushing water ashore, piling it up, and forcing it inland. But how far? The National Hurricane Center's newest computer model now calculates surges faster, with more detail, and it will be easier to read.
Think about all these storms like Katrina and Rita, Isaac, Irene, Sandy. Water was the big deal, and we really want to make that easier for the public to understand where storm surge, the water coming onto land from the ocean, could occur.
They'll have new experimental maps with each hurricane warning, detailing the surge threat.
This will be a graphic that will convey how far inland storm surge flooding could occur from the beach. And in some places in Florida, that can be miles from the coastline. It depends on where you are. But this graphic will clarify in that particular storm situation, how far inland could the water go and how high above ground could the water get.
So if a Category 5 storm were to bear down on the northern part of Palm Beach County, the maps would show there will be 3 feet of water all the way back here to the intersection of Alt A1A and Indiantown Road. The maps will be specific for each storm. They'll identify the areas where the surge will be the most severe. This will help emergency management officials make evacuation calls.
Having the more detailed, more specific, storm-specific information from the National Hurricane Center helps us here in Palm Beach County present a more detailed, more specific, and maybe even a smaller evacuation area specific to that storm so that we evacuate less people.
The new maps will be available on hurricanes.gov and also WPTV.com whenever a hurricane warning is issued. Meteorologist James Wieland, WPTV News Channel 5.
Technology is really helping us out, and you can keep up to date with the latest weather developments from hurricanes to afternoon thunderstorms with our Storm Shield app. It has up-to-the-minute alerts when dangerous weather is in our area and threatens your family. If you don't already have it, this is a great time to get it. It'll keep you and your family safe. I have it on my phone. It is an incredible app. You can download it at WPTV.com or from the App Store. All right, coming up next, it's not just hurricanes that cause a lot of damage. When we come back, we'll show you the other kinds of weather systems that have made their mark on our area.
Surviving the Storm is sponsored in part by PNC Bank.
For the multitasker, getting the most from every dollar. For the visionary, seeing cash coming in and going out. For the dreamer, checking that retirement is right on track. For the CFO, making sure assets are working overtime. For over 160 years, PNC has been part of the communities we serve, providing tools, guidance, and experience to help people achieve.
This hurricane season, stay alert and be prepared with BrandSmart USA. Take advantage of our tax-free hurricane items and save big. Generators, weather radios, flashlights, lanterns, batteries, and more. Plus, BrandSmart USA will pay your sales tax on additional items throughout the store. Find huge savings on items like home security, TVs, bedding, furniture, appliances, home audio, and more. It's the BrandSmart USA Tax-Free Sales Week. Come in today. That's the BrandSmart way.
Man, it is Dodge's 100-year anniversary. I need some ideas and some good ones.
We set up a big stage, bring out the cars.
But if we're gonna have a stage, we put on the crew.
A Hemi-powered meat smoker.
I'll see your meat smoker and raise you a man in a jetpack.
Nitrous party cannon.
Yes, and then we can end the whole thing with a...
This Memorial Day, get great deals at the Dodge 100-year event. Right now, get $4,000 total cash allowance on select 2014 Dodge Journey models.
Some years ago, News Channel 5 had a big idea. Build the most powerful weather radar on the Palm Beaches and Treasure Coast to keep you safe. Let's call it Live Viper 5 Max and hire the one man who has the expertise and experience to use it. His name is Steve, constantly scouring the skies for wicked weather and sounding the alarm where you live. He even has weather updates that are always at your fingertips. Steve Weagle and Live Viper 5 Max. Together, they're ready for anything. So you're ready for everything.
Welcome back, everyone. During this time of year, most of the focus is on hurricanes, but there are other types of weather systems that you need to be aware of: tropical storms and tornadoes. Storm Team 5's Tyler Mauldin takes a look at the kind of damage they've caused in our area.
It was a tornado that roared into Vero Beach along State Road 60.
It sounded like a freight train coming.
The last twister to hit our area brought winds of 80 to 85 miles per hour.
Funnel cloud and all the debris just swirling.
Tornadoes have a better chance of hitting Florida in the spring and summer months, and that's just what happened in this August storm 2 years ago.
Okay, so this is my carport.
It took only 30 seconds to rip through 3 mobile home parks.
I was 2 feet from my bed. I grabbed my big down comforters and my pillows. I dove in the hallway, and my dining room window went sailing past me into the living room.
While it wasn't a hurricane, it had some thinking about the worst one to hit South Florida.
I was in Andrew when I was in Key Largo, and this is the worst.
I don't know when I've ever been so scared. It looked like a war zone.
While tornadoes move through quickly, tropical storms can last for hours, bringing heavy rain, severe flooding, and causing millions of dollars in damage.
Tropical Storm Isaac arrived on an August night in 2012, and by morning it had dropped up to 20 inches of rain in the Anchorage and Wellington areas.
You can't control Mother Nature.
It knocked out power to thousands, forced schools to close, and flooded roads.
All of a sudden, I was up to my ankles in water sitting in the car.
The rain fell so hard, so fast, canals flooded, dikes breached.
It's nothing I've ever seen happen out here before.
The flooding overwhelmed homeowners' well water pumps.
I have no water. The water doesn't work. None of us have water back here.
The floodwaters poured into homes.
A disaster. Total disaster. What if it was a hurricane? It wasn't even a hurricane.
For many, it was like they were stranded on islands as they relied on the Red Cross to provide them with a lifeline.
Everything you need inside, no problem.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
Oh my God, we're out of water. We're out of food. It's going to help us to sustain ourselves a little bit longer.
When it was over, Isaac caused an estimated $8 million of damage in South Florida. Tyler Mauldin, WPTV News Channel 5.
It was a terrible storm for some. There could soon be a new tool to prepare for hurricanes and help in the rescues afterwards. Coming up, researchers explain why it could someday replace hurricane hunters.
It's the one app you should have. News Channel 5's Storm Shield, powered by Steve Weagle and Storm Team 5. No matter where you are, when wicked weather threatens, be the first to know. News Channel 5 Storm Shield, available now in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This hurricane season, stay alert and be prepared with BrandSmart USA. Take advantage of our tax-free hurricane items and save big. Generators, weather radios, flashlights, lanterns, batteries, and more. Plus, BrandSmart USA will pay your sales tax on additional items throughout the store. Find huge savings on items like home security, TVs, bedding, furniture, appliances, home audio, and more. It's the BrandSmart USA Tax-Free Sales Week. Come in today. That's the BrandSmart way.
I'm a seafood lover. It tastes great and is healthy. Here in South Florida, we're lucky to have an abundance of fresh, local seafood. Grouper, snapper, shrimp, and lobster, they all depend upon our Florida reefs. So whether you're in the mood for fish or shellfish, our Florida reefs support our local economies, our local fisheries, and my hungry stomach. Learn what you can do at ourfloridareefs.org.
It's the Yoplait Greek Taste Off, and we're asking the Music City which 100-calorie strawberry Greek yogurt is the next big thing. I'm a random lady with a table full of yogurt. Want some Greek yogurt? Can I ask you a question? Tell us what tastes best.
This one's definitely the winner.
That one's good.
That is great.
Yoplait Greek 100.
That's the stuff right there.
You want to see which one Yoplait Greek beat? Chobani. Yes! Yoplait Greek wins again. Take the taste off for yourself. It is a beautiful day for yogurt.
Online dating can work for you. Just follow these 3 easy rules to find true happiness. Just like that. These simple secrets are so obvious, and they're on the next list.
Monday at 7 on News Channel 5.
Surviving the Storm is sponsored in part by Winn-Dixie.
Welcome back. As you can tell from that statistic, we're more likely to be hit by a hurricane than any other state in the country. We've seen the pictures of the damage hurricanes can do to houses. If you're in a home when it hits, it can be scary and deadly. Storm Team 5's Tyler Mauldin takes a look at what you should do to prepare your house for a storm and where you should take cover when it strikes.
If a hurricane is making a beeline for your home, you must examine every square foot differently. You have to know, where's the safest spot to go inside your home?
Okay, but the other side of that coin is that...
Brett Handler of Dreamstar Custom Homes is here to help answer that question for you as he shows us around this multi-million-dollar home built with the latest hurricane impact-resistant materials.
It's nice and secure. It'll keep the door from being able to blow in.
And while we don't all have these bells and whistles, Brett says we can learn many lessons from this house.
Do you want to be upstairs in a hurricane? Not really.
So the second floor is a no-go. The first floor is the place to be, and you want as much between you and the outside as possible. Let's narrow it down a little further.
Again, anything that doesn't have windows is going to be your #1 choice.
Outside tables, chairs, even televisions are stationary now. You may not have them in your yard, but they might be in the neighbors, and when the winds pick up, those items can go airborne, endangering your family's lives. Remember, it's not always about how strong the winds are, but what's in those winds that matters the most.
The storms are stronger than you think, and they'll pick up things that you would normally think of picking up.
Even in this house, with unique hurricane impact resistant windows and doors, the windows make the living room, dining room, kitchen, and garage less than ideal.
Yeah, I'd run from this room.
We must keep searching. Aha! I found it.
Now, in the event that a hurricane does come into South Florida, the bathroom is a great place to take shelter. It's away from all windows, all exterior walls, and in case you do have to take shelter in here, grab something to cover your head and keep you safe from flying debris.
Say, know your environment.
A bathroom isn't the only safe spot. In your house, it could be an interior closet or even a spot under the stairs. It simply depends on the layout of your home. Know every nook and cranny in your house when searching for your safe spot.
But certainly, if you know there's a hurricane coming, you want to do whatever you can.
Finding your safe place now means when a hurricane comes, you'll be ready. Tyler Mauldin, WPTV News Channel 5.
You know, researchers are always studying hurricanes, trying to learn more about their intensity and direction. Now, a new technological breakthrough could soon help before a storm hits. And as Storm Team 5's James Wieland reports, it could also help in the storm's aftermath.
When a hurricane is heading this way, or when it's time to assess the damage after the storm passes, there could be a new tool to help forecasters and emergency response crews. Drones.
But we're not talking about these little drones like this one right here that are becoming more and more popular these days. We're talking about much bigger, much more powerful drones.
At Texas A&M's Corpus Christi campus, they're working on drones that will be able to fly as soon as a hurricane passes. Through crews on the ground, they'll be able to find the worst damage and direct rescue crews there. When a hurricane is forming, they're looking at sending an even stronger drone into it to gather information on the storm's intensity.
Some of the drones can fly at 20 kilometers high, so we are flying on top of the storm. And all those data will be fed directly back onto the land and put into the numerical models.
Currently, Hurricane Hunter airplanes are doing that type of work, but the drones could be able to supplement it.
It can fly longer time. It can fly 28 hours on top of the storm, keep the continuous observation, which is very hard to get from the recon flights.
There's still a way to go in developing the drones, but the researchers are hoping they can eventually replace the Hurricane Hunters.
The critical aspect here is that it can be done cheaper and more efficiently, and since you don't have a pilot, it is safer, particularly in extreme climate situations.
There are more changes to make and regulations to meet, but the researchers say the drones are on the path to helping track the storms and helping in the aftermath. Meteorologist James Wieland, WPTV News Channel 5.
And from the sky to the water, boating plays a big part in the lives of many in our area. Coming up next, what you can do to prevent your boat from being smashed in a storm.
Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. It's why the IIHS named both the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 a top safety pick plus. And both are named a Car and Driver 10 Best. What do you drive? Now, lease the 2014 Mazda 6 Sport for $199 a month for 36 months.
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit hungry and there's nothing really good around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of living off the taste of the air. Turn around, Barry. Finally I have a manly chocolatey snack and fiber so my wife won't give me any more flack. I finally found the right snack.
When other dealers won't, Wallace Hyundai will. Fact. No other dealer on the Treasure Coast can get more brands into the right hands, which means Wallace can pay you more for your trade all day, every day. Right now, drive home a new 2014 Hyundai Elantra, only $99 a month. Or a 2014 Hyundai Sonata with absolutely zero down, $199 a month. Sign and drive.
When other dealers won't, I'm Bill and I will.
The kids in my class are really nice. They're just not nice to me.
And she said, I just want to let you know your son is autistic.
It's almost like you're a hostage in your own home.
I'm surprised at how callous adults can be, especially to a child who's 4.
Autism strikes 1 in 88 children. If you don't know a family affected, chances are you will. Impact 5 is News Channel 5's year-long commitment to exploring and understanding autism.
Surviving the Storm is sponsored in part by Winn-Dixie.
A sight that's often seen after a hurricane, boats smashed against docks, rocks, and washed ashore. But there are precautions that can be taken to avoid it from happening. Storm Team 5's Glenn Glazer has the details, so you'll have smooth sailing.
As the storm approaches the area, it's important to figure out what to do with your boat and hopefully not wait until the last minute. Captain Ed Saucy joining me now at Jupiter Point Marina. And what's the very first thing people should do if a storm is approaching and your boat's in the water?
Make sure your boat is off the dock because of the tide surge will come up. Your boat will get hung up on the dock. That's a big no-no.
Let's quickly run through that process.
First, what we're going to do is we're going to get the lines long enough to where we can cross out. We want to have it to where we're tied out in the middle.
Next, throw out some fenders, rig some spring lines, pull those cushions, and secure those hatches.
Most hatches lock, so they won't come up, but you could be on the safe side. You could take this duct tape and you could run duct tape along it.
Be sure and check your batteries and all of your pumps, and don't forget the canvas.
I would probably take all this string out and pull the whole soft top off, so you just have the poles. On a bimini top, take the whole bimini top completely off the boat.
Another option to tying your boat off in a slip is to put it up in dry storage. Mike Drotty is the dockmaster here at Jupiter Point Marina. And a lot of marinas in the area offer what's called a hurricane season contract. What is that?
It's where we bring your boat in 24 hours before a storm hits. We put it inside in this Category 5 building.
It may cost you some money, but there is some financial benefit for you.
Insurance companies give you a break if you have it in a category building.
Boats are pulled by forklifts, placed on racks, and the building is then secured for the storm. But be patient after the storm has passed if you can't get your boat right away.
It depends on how much damage is outside and if we can get the boat out safely.
The bottom line is give yourself as much time as possible because you never know what snags you may run into.
How do you get back to the dock?
Swim. Or have a canoe or a dinghy or something like that.
Glenn Glazer, WPTV News Channel 5.
We have been oh so lucky when it comes to hurricanes in the last few years. We haven't had one hit our area since Wilma in 2005. But the director of the National Hurricane Center is issuing a warning. Don't be complacent.
South Florida is a very hurricane-prone location in which to live. Whether you're at the coast or you're inland, you look long enough back in Florida's hurricane history, there have been periods of less activity and gangbusters years like 04 and 05. We've been fortunate the last several years, but the hurricanes are going to come back to Florida. If it's this year, I want to be ready, and I encourage everybody else to do the same.
Great advice. If you would like more information on everything from getting the supplies you need to prepare for a hurricane to where the hurricane shelters are located, you have it in our hurricane guide. It's free and you can pick them up at Winn-Dixie stores and PNC banks. And you can keep up with the latest weather developments with our Storm Shield app. It'll give you up-to-the-minute alerts when dangerous weather is in our area. And if you don't already have it, it's a good time to get it. If it'll keep your family safe, you can get it for your iPhone or Android. You download it at WPTV.com or the App Store. You can find more information about hurricanes and preparing for the storms on our webpage, WPTV.com. Just click on the weather link and then the Hurricane Plus button. The storm team meteorologists are ready for any storms that will be heading our way. Hopefully we won't see any. We'll be tracking them from the time they first roll off the coast of Africa through every twist and turn that they make across the Atlantic. We're prepared to bring you the latest developments 24 hours a day, and we hope that none head toward us. But if a hurricane does, we'll be here to help you survive the storm. Here's hoping we have another very quiet hurricane season.
Surviving the Storm is sponsored in part by PNC Bank.
For the multitasker, getting the most from every dollar. For the visionary, seeing cash coming in and going out. For the dreamer, checking that retirement is right on track. For the CFO, making sure assets are working overtime. For over 160 years, PNC has been part of the communities we serve, providing tools, guidance, and experience to help people achieve.
Man, it is Dodge's 100-year anniversary. I need some ideas and some good ones.
We set up a big stage, bring out the cars.
But if we're gonna have a stage, we put on the crew.
A Hemi-powered meat smoker.
I'll see your meat smoker and raise you a man in a jetpack.
Nitrous party cannon.
Yes, and then we can end the whole thing with a...
This Memorial Day, get great deals at the Dodge 100-year event. Right now, get $4,000 total cash allowance on select 2014 Dodge Journey models.
This hurricane season, stay alert and be prepared with BrandSmart USA. Take advantage of our tax-free hurricane items and save big. Generators, weather radios, flashlights, lanterns, batteries, and more. Plus, BrandSmart USA will pay your sales tax on additional items throughout the store. Find huge savings on items like home security, TVs, bedding, furniture, appliances, home audio, and more. It's the BrandSmart USA Tax-Free Sales Week. Come in today. That's the BrandSmart way.
In the daytime, girl, I want to be with you all of the time.
Yoplait, with a smooth and creamy taste your whole family loves. It is so good all of the time.
Catch up on all the weekend sports action. Join ESPN 106.3 for Honda 5 Sports Live every Sunday night following News Channel 5 at 11.
Sponsored by the South Florida Honda Dealers. Visit sfhondadealers.com to find a dealer nearest you. Thank you for watching WPTV News Channel 5. Count on Chopper 5, the only news helicopter from Boca Raton to the Treasure Coast. On air, online, it's local coverage you can count on. The following is a paid program.